Ted Kotcheff, a versatile Canadian director best known for the action classic First Blood and the comedy Weekend at Bernie's, has passed away at the age of 94. Originally from Toronto, Kotcheff died of heart failure on Thursday in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico, just a few days after celebrating his birthday, according to his daughter, Kate Kotcheff. He was a brilliant storyteller, truly larger than life, and had such deep knowledge about so many things, Kate said in a phone interview from Mexico on Friday. One of his remarkable gifts was his ability to captivate people with unforgettable stories. He had the kind of personality that feels rare in today's world, said his daughter, Kate. Over a career that spanned nearly 60 years, Kotcheff built a diverse body of work. His directing credits included the 1974 film The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, based on the novel by Mordecai Richler, and the 1990 dramedy Folks, starring Tom Selleck. I think what he'll be remembered for is his versatility. He was a filmmaker who could take on any genre, added Kate, who is a documentary director herself. Kotcheff grew up in Toronto's Cabbagetown area during the hardships of the Great Depression. In a 2017 conversation with the Canadian press, he shared memories of his family's financial struggles. His father, originally from Bulgaria, and his Macedonian mother couldn't even afford basic heating like coal or firewood. One especially harsh winter night, when Kotcheff was not yet 2 years old, he came dangerously close to freezing. Fortunately, a doctor arrived just in time. I had turned blue and was barely breathing, he recalled. My mother woke to find me like a frozen piece of meat and screamed. Kotcheff's directing journey began in the 1950s with the CBC, where he worked on television dramas such as General Motors Theatre and First Performance. With Canada's film industry still finding its footing, Kotcheff relocated to England in the late 1950s, where he shared a flat in London with writer Mordecai Richler. It was during this period that Richler penned The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz. I read the entire manuscript in one go, Kotcheff later recalled. I told Mordecai, not only is this one of the finest Canadian novels I've ever read, but one day I'm going to return home and turn it into a film. They both laughed at the time, knowing that Canada's film industry was virtually non-existent. Years later, that dream became reality. The film, shot in Quebec, became Kotcheff's breakthrough and opened doors for him in Hollywood during the 1970s. He also directed the influential 1971 Australian new wave film Wake in Fright, which followed the psychological unravelling of a schoolteacher stranded in the outback. I believe Wake in Fright was his finest work, said Kate, referring to the intense psychological thriller filmed in Australia, in which her mother Sylvia Kay, Kotcheff's wife at the time, also appeared. Kate remembers spending 9 months in Australia while her father worked on the production. The film captured something powerful about Australian life, especially in rural areas far from the major cities, and explored masculinity in a very raw way, she reflected. Kate also noted her father's strong creative instincts and clear sense of direction long before the cameras rolled. He always had the whole film edited in his mind before he even began shooting, she said. In 1982, Kotcheff brought the iconic character John Rambo to the screen in First Blood, introducing audiences to the troubled war veteran and giving Sylvester Stallone his first major hit after Rocky. It was, in many ways, a Canadian production, Kotcheff once said in an interview with the Canadian press. The story came from a novel by David Morrell, who's Canadian. I directed it. We filmed in Hope, British Columbia, and the crew was largely Canadian as well. In later years, Kotcheff served as executive producer on Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, contributing to hundreds of episodes of the long-running series. A documentary exploring his life and career, The Apprenticeship of Ted Kotcheff, is currently in development. Kate believes her father's strength as a filmmaker came from his deep commitment to storytelling. He was incredibly well-read and had a literary mind. For him, it always came down to the story and the character's genre didn't really matter, she said. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.